Hi there, everybody. Well, it seems like everybody on the internet and on YouTube and everywhere you go is talking about Social Security. And it seems like one of the big things about retirement is everybody asks the question, when should I start taking Social Security? Now, this isn't the start of firestorm of everybody going in here, oh, the government's going to bankrupt it, Trump's going to get rid of it, this and that. No. Let's not get political, okay? That's not what this discussion is about at all. And as some of you know, I follow this guy on YouTube named Sarasota Tim, who he's been this big advocate. Take that Social Security when you turn 62 years old and get it while you can. But I'm not here to tell you when you should take Social Security or when you should retire for that matter. I'm still a ways off from doing it. But I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine who's a few years older than me about this idea of when to take Social Security. And so I thought, well, we'll put it out there and see what you guys and girls think about it. And I know they'll be fighting over the answer, I'm sure, because everybody's got different opinions. Everybody's situation is different. However, he had one of the most unique takes on when to take Social Security that I've ever heard. I'd never heard the math done the way he did it. Okay, here's his deal. I believe he's turning 65 or 66 because he said he'd be able to get the government health plan. And again, I know some of you are going to say, oh, it's going to be bankrupt. We're not going to have that. Anyway, forget that argument, okay? He says he's eligible for was Medicare. And he can start drawing his Social Security. He could have when he was 62, but now he's 65, 66. He said his full retirement age, I guess, was 65, or it may have been 67. Yeah, anyway, here's though what he was talking about on the math. He said, so I looked it up, and he said if I retired today, he said my Social Security benefit was going to be just a shade under $3,000 a month. He said it was like $2,968 or some number like that, almost $3,000 a month. He said I started looking, he says my take-home pay in my full-time job right now is around $3,900 a month. And he said, I started thinking about it, and he said, I've never heard anybody say this, and I agreed. I said, I've never heard anybody put it that way. He goes, so here's the deal. I can quit and get $3,000 a month and do absolutely nothing, or I can continue to work full-time and get $3,900 a month. And he said, the way I figure it, I'm working full-time for $900 a month is what I'm doing, because he says there's $3,000 a month sitting over there that I wouldn't have to work for. Of course, he worked for it in his lifetime, and I thought, I have never heard that analogy. And he brought up, he says, I'm sure I could pick up a part-time job if I needed to and make $900 a month. And he says, so then I'm working part-time and making as much as I am now full-time. And of course, the argument then is, well, what if something happens? You need to keep working full-time so you can keep earning that $900 a month rather than taking Social Security and then getting a part-time job and earning $900 a month. And he said, honestly, he says, I really don't have to take a part-time job. He says, I can get by on the $3,000 a month. He doesn't have really any debt or anything. He says he has a small house payment, and that's about it. So I thought, wow, what an interesting way to look at it. So I'm kind of curious. In the comments section, you guys and girls, you can start going at it. But have you ever heard that analogy? Maybe what has been some of your experiences? And of course, then I know there are always the stories of waiting, and then they drop dead, but maybe they love their job. I still enjoy my work. I don't know when I'll do it. I still have that dream of I'll just make a YouTube channel my full-time employment. Like that fellow Sarasota Tim and a few others. They're making really good money doing this all the time. But again, so think about that math he did. Again, and some people, of course, aren't going to draw it that much in Social Security, so every individual situation is going to be different. But again, his math, he says he can retire tomorrow, draw about $3,000 a month from Social Security, and he'll have his insurance taken care of through Medicare and all that. Or he said, I can keep working full-time and keep bringing home $3,900 a month. But in his mind, he says, but that means I'm working full-time to get an extra $900 a month over what I could with just Social Security. Think about that. Leave your comments, and if and when he makes his decision, I'll let you guys know. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, And isn't this a beautiful place I'm at here? Ooh, boy, I bet there's folks retired around here. Bye now.